Ohio, and we are on the couch for the Kassie Project. And you know, the objective is to provide sharing, healing, and living for survivors of sexual and domestic abuse. Well, one of the important things I felt in order to release ourselves as a survivor is to hear from someone on the other side, to hear the other side of the story. So today, Noel is joining me on the couch to share his story. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm pleasure to be here.
And you are a reformed abuser.
Yes, I am.
Is that the correct title, or do you have another title?
No, I think it's reformed would be the perfect way. You know, I had to go through some counseling and some emotional truths to find out who I really was and to take steps to fix it.
Now, you were a perpetrator of physical or sexual or emotional type of...
Emotional. And I never really viewed that as I was a very black and white person, military contractor overseas. So I led my life the same way, military everything. So yeah, it was. I was very mental, very verbal. Do this, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that?
Okay, now I know that I've been in relationships where, and it didn't even occur to me that I was, I guess, being verbally or mentally abused. The way I did it was stupid or things like that. Did you use those type of names, or were you just really just like a militant?
Well, I wasn't exactly a militant like in the aspects. I just had certain standards. I was raised never to call anybody stupid, fat, or ugly. So I always thought, well, I'm not saying those things, but I would always give a look, or maybe a feeling or a vibe come off me that, I didn't appreciate the way that it was done.
Was she scared of you?
No, not at all. No, not at all. But, you crush a person's spirit with the way that you act, and it don't have to be words. Sometimes it can just be a look, and that's where I was an abuser.
Isolated relationship, or was it something that you practiced as you were growing up throughout all of your relationships?
Well, it's funny. I look back on some of my relationships, and I never really thought I was an abuser. I think I was raised that way. I was raised where the man is the head of the household. He is really the undisputed head. And I was raised that way, so I just thought that's the way things are. You marry, the woman's next to you. I've since learned that she's beside you. And yeah, I was raised that way. I was raised, definitely not isolated, but it was just the environment of the family I was raised in. All the men were big, strong guys, but to put your hands on a woman in my family meant everybody was going to come down on you.
Okay, so you guys your family was totally against the physical abuse aspect of it, but never really recognized what was going on at the time with the authoritativeness and things like that as being some form of abuse.
Yeah, it was abuse. It was absolutely abuse. And it took me about 6 weeks in the class to realize that with Miss Dixon, that hey, my emotional reaction to things is abusive to the person that I'm supposed to love. Yeah, but no, in my family, physical violence to a woman was cowardly.
When you were talking about how you were brought up, I mean, if you think about, the old school days, it's like the man wears the pants, the woman, is a happy homemaker and things like that. When you think about it, some of those relationships, they were all abusive in a way, because the woman had to submit to what the man, said to do. But we never really considered it abuse because, again, that's just the way that we thought it was supposed to be.
And it definitely was, it was an eye-opener to the fact that, whoa, I'm not taking that person's feelings into account, and the love, my mind, abuser was a hitter. I know that's very narrow-minded and everything. Or a person who says mean name, cuss words, and, oh, you're stupid or you're fat, and it wasn't that way with me. And I thought, there's no way I can be an abuser. Here I am, I provide everything. Once again, I provide, and it was just wrong. And it took a while, but that relationship was damaged beyond repair, but it allowed me to go into another relationship with no baggage and with true heart for, hey, okay, I'm stepping over the line, I need to take a step back. And it gave us a chance to really grow. And I'm in the healthiest relationship of my life.
Now, we're definitely going to talk about that, because let me ask you another question. So you went through this program. First of all, how long was the program?
12 weeks. This one was 12 weeks.
Okay, so you went through a 12-week program. Were you court ordered to do so?
No, I was not court ordered. I knew that there were some problems, so I agreed with my ex-wife to take the class on my own, with my own initiative.
That's good. We were talking to one of the facilitators from the the Family Violence Prevention Center, and she was saying that most of those participants are court ordered. But to know that you came in voluntarily, I mean, that speaks volumes. The fact that you acknowledged or even recognized that something was going on with you that you needed to put a stop to is absolutely huge. So I have to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Because most men don't even acknowledge that they've done anything or that they feel that that they should be reprimanded for anything.
Well, I definitely I saw the damage, whether some of the accusations or whatever were true or not true between me and my ex-wife. I saw the damage it was to the kids, and I needed to start the healing process. And if it was this class or a 20-week class or whatever, I needed to start the healing for the kids. And maybe my ex-wife can now move on because I've moved on. It's time for her to move on.
Now, did you apologize to her?
Well, we haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm hoping that'll come soon. We haven't been able to be in the same room yet. She still has a lot of resentment towards me. And there's a lot of control issues with her on that issue.
Hey, do you think it's important? I mean, because you went to classes and you're now reformed as the survivor or the victim or your ex-wife. Do you think it's necessary? Important for her to get some type of treatment?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found out is there sometimes can be two abusers in the family, and you don't realize that because you're playing off each other. Unfortunately, in ours, she was playing off mine. She was never abusive the way that I was, but like she would withhold things, and I thought that was abusive. And
you felt like that was a lack of honesty, that she wasn't completely being honest with you about things when you say withholding?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that for anybody to get over what you've been through with domestic violence, and we were married for over a decade. So I think everybody needs counseling. Everybody needs closure. And you need to do it in a professional place. Because the thing, like they always say, swimming in your own mind's a dangerous place to swim alone.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard that, but that makes total and complete sense.
it's just not where you want to be by yourself, is in your own mind. And I think that, hopefully she'll find the right support for that. And I don't want to, I hate to say sometimes that the support they find is other angry people. And I hope that she finds, like I did, a connection with people who they were wanting you to heal, and they want your partner, your ex-partner to heal too, not with remorse or regret or anger, just heal. And that's the hard thing for people to do nowadays, is to find healing and peace on both ends.
Tell me, during the course of your reformation, is that a word?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Go ahead, bring in the words. She's running for politics. She's making up words now. Referendum.
I didn't say referendum. Anyway, during the course of your classes, your treatment, so to speak, what was the one thing that stood out to you? What do you think it was that actually put you over the top and let you know that you had moved into a new place, that you were no longer the man that you used to be?
Having to be totally honest with what you had done. Well, you have to change the I statements to basically caring statements, and you stop looking at what she did and you face it back on you. It took me about 6 weeks to get into that.
Taking responsibility for your own actions.
I was mad at Miss Dixon. I was mad because the things that, they always say, we've been in church, we both know, when you're being burned on your butt by knowledge and by truth, you kind of want to squirm and you can't get away. And with that, Miss Dixon was bringing out the truth, and that's that week 6. I'm like, wow, I'm not a physical abuser, but I'm an abuser mentally with my with my emotions, not my words.
Yeah, something that you're doing is hurting someone else,
And
and that would be abuse.
And it hurt the whole household.
So how are your babies now?
How old are they?
How are they doing? You've gone through this program and everything. How are they?
They're struggling. They're struggling because we're about ready to go through the reunification process. Because I got back from Iraq, Kuwait in 2010, so I really haven't been with my kids in 2 years. So we're going through that. My daughter 6 cries a lot for me. My 11-year-old's a little angry. My 18-year-old lives with me, and he's leaving for the Air Force. He's very structured, and we have a wonderful relationship. And my oldest daughter, it's a struggle because she's 19 and knows everything.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that. Are you teaching them the things that you're learning in class?
Yes, I actually have branched out into more classes. I've taken the parent toolbox and stuff like that and that structure's more on using redirection, which is hard to do when you're old school military. It's not redirections, it's now, now, now. And we've went away from that. You know.
Well, congratulations
Thank you.
on all of that. And speaking of congratulations, what is this I hear? Something fabulous is happening in your future?
Yes, I'm going to probably be remarried in a year to a lovely woman named Jackie.
You don't have to hide, Jackie. I'm not going to call you over. She doesn't want to be on camera. But I mean, and if she was on camera, the one thing I would want to ask her is if there was any fear. Have you guys talked about it? Does she have any fear of you maybe regressing?
Actually, no. She was very supportive of the classes. When we started our relationship, we were brutally honest with each other because I had to tell her, you know, I'm like, look, you know, this is what my past is like. And she understood. I mean, she was hesitant. Don't get me wrong. First time in my life, besides a governmental agency, I got a full background check by a woman.
Good for you. Good for you.
She even knew my credit score.
And you're getting married anyway? Is that good? I mean, you got good credit? You got a brother?
No, I ain't got good credit. Divorces don't do good for credit.
Oh,
But no, she gave me a chance. But you know, she has very good boundaries, you know, and that's a good thing. That's what I needed. And with that, being able to be who I was and honest was a wonderful way to heal. Definitely listen to your red flags and understand. Be honest with the situation, and I would say mostly look at the person. You may have to give the person a chance. Definitely do background checks. I hate to say that nowadays, but be honest at where you're at. And if you're honest and your partner or the person you want to date's honest, some cool things can happen.
Well, it sounds good to me. That's fabulous advice. We're here in Xenia. Thank you so much to the Family Violence Prevention Center for having us out.